Hey everyone, I'd like to welcome y'all to a little meeting that we're going to have between Nancy Nelson, author and Alzheimer's advocate from Las Vegas, and also Brian Hedges, singer, songwriter, storyteller from just outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. Nancy, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me. It's nice to be here.
I'm really glad to be here. Brian, welcome, buddy.
Thank you very much, brother. Glad to be here.
Okay, well, the reason we're here that we know, right? The reason we're here is because June is the Alzheimer's and Brain Disease Awareness Month. We need to bring awareness to everything that's going on within this disease and diseases similar to it, and two of the best people. One, we have author of Blue River Apple, Nancy Nelson. Nancy, it's an exploration of Alzheimer's through poetry, right?
It is. It is. It's a little inside view of an outside reality. Alzheimer's.
Very nice. Okay. And both of your lives have been touched. Nancy, you were diagnosed in 2013. Brian, he's been touched by this because both parents suffered by the disease. That's correct, right, Brian?
Actually, it's even further than that. My maternal grandmother, my aunt, my mother's sister, and mom and dad.
Wow.
So it basically, unless they start telling us they found a cure for something, if it is genetic, then there's a good chance that I'm going to be dealing with this situation.
There's certainly a propensity towards it.
Yes, ma'am. And so that's what and I don't think a lot of people get thrown into this by choice. I think we have to experience it in one way or another to get active in it. And I think that's why Nancy and I are personally involved in it.
That's great. Now, Nancy, we know about your books. You have 3 of them.
Correct.
And that are just an amazing, kind of cryptic, the way you look at things. Tell us, first of all, I know, okay, because we've been longtime friends.
Right.
Tell me about, or tell the viewers, why Blue River Apple? Where did that come from?
Well, when you first have a glimpse of feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm losing it, and you decide that you're going to go someplace and have professional help say yes or no. And it's a process of elimination in order to determine whether you have it. It's getting more and more detailed, and they're easier to find out. But part of it is they give you an oral exam, actually, when you go into the doctor's office, and they ask you questions to see what you're really, where you are on a scale of 1 to 30, remembering. And so one of the things that they do is they sit you in that little tiny room all by yourself, and they tell you or give you 3 or 5 or 7 words that they want you to remember, and then they talk to you for a half hour, and then they ask you to remember those words. And I was unable to remember. I only remembered 1, and I didn't remember the other. And like I say, it's a process of elimination, that along with all kinds of other testing that determines where you are in the process.
And
I was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's at that time in 2013. It has since changed to a diagnosis of mild cognitive impairment. Nothing's changed here. But the diagnosis has changed.
But the Blue River Apple are actually the 3 words that you couldn't remember.
That is it.
Okay, very good. And Brian,
thank you for finishing that.
I'm sorry?
I said thank you for finishing that.
Oh, well, I needed to help you. I think.
Tying it up, so to speak.
I love you to pieces. You guys are awesome. Brian.
Oh, I was the talker.
Brian, when it comes to your folks, were you still living at home when you had to deal with your folks, or were you already outside of the house and they were?
No, I was already in Tennessee. Have been for I've been in Tennessee since '93. Mom passed away. Will be 3 years ago in October, and Dad passed away Christmas Eve this past Christmas. So we just recently lost them. My aunt was just exactly 1 year prior to my mom. Now, my grandmother, we dealt with that for years. We didn't know what it was when we were kids. I mean, nobody really had ever used the term Alzheimer's or even dementia to that degree. Grandma was just crazy. I mean, seriously, that's what
Shame on
everybody
you.
said.
That's what everybody.
She would call you 10, 20 times a day asking the same questions. And she grew up on the farm as well. And she knows that we would cut wheat in April, May, June, somewhere in there. And she would call in the middle of the winter and say, are you cutting wheat today? So there were things like that, but we didn't know what they were. We just knew that there was dementia involved, and senility or whatever anybody wanted to label it at that time. But you know, I know there's a lot of things you want to talk about and do and everything, but I want to shout out to Nancy because you're kind of like my hero. We come from two different directions. You were diagnosed. I will not say the word afflicted because you're not. You were diagnosed, and I watched it from the other side. And so when you mention things that you experienced through your poetry, you know, being diagnosed, one person's diagnosed, the rest of the family and friends are afflicted. Because from that point on, it's the exact same thing you're experiencing that you talk about in your poetry. And as anybody that's ever had Alzheimer's or has it, your family is going through the exact same thing on the other side of that coin. We come to see you, and we want to talk to you and try to bring things up that you can relate to. And you're not able to do that all the time. And so that we go home frustrated and disappointed and mad at ourselves because we're not able to bring that out in you. Because yesterday you were talking about it. 15 minutes ago you were talking about it. So
that's wonderful that you're bringing that up, Brian, because your song, Remember, was
I love that song.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love that song.
Really, at the time that your mother was experiencing it, but you recorded it after your dad passed away, right?
Actually, just before Dad passed. But he went into the nursing home, the hospital first, then the nursing home, just a matter of months after writing that. I wrote it for Mom, not knowing Dad was going to be changing that rapidly. We didn't realize how many things Dad had tucked away in his mind without sharing them with us. And we found out when he had the test, when he did the 30 questions, he got 3 correct. And we had no idea that it was that bad. And from that point on, once he accepted that he wasn't going to be able to go home, the deterioration was rapid. And so, you know, I don't like to speak on a negative term because you have witness to the fact with Miss Nancy and what she can do. The mind can also sit there and tell itself, no, I'm not going to let this happen today. And you can work it and work it and work it. It's a muscle, it's a strength, it's a power that there's not any doctors can understand it yet. So, yes, you know, I mean,
I've never said I have it. I say only that I've been diagnosed. And
diagnosed.
Some people say you're in denial, and I say it's working for me.
That's what matters. That's what matters.
That's great. Well, the Remember video, or Remember song, was made into a video. You allowed us, FoxPromotions, to create a video for you. I'd like to play that now, if that's okay. And then when on the other side of it, maybe get some information onto the groups that you were both involved with for charity reasons to help fight this disease, maybe some thoughts. And since it is the last day of this month, I want to make an impact on folks to carry on throughout the rest of the year. And so if you don't mind, you guys don't mind?
No.
Okay, so let's go ahead and play Remember by Brian Hedges, and we'll come back on the other side.
Remember when you were just a kid. Remember all the little things you did. Remember try to recall, if you can at all, as I said here tearfully, and I'll try to remember myself that you don't remember me. Remember your first day at school. Remember and I'll bet you can recite the golden rule. Remember what goes through your mind is funny at times, and it comes so easily. So I'll sit here looking into your eyes to see if you remember me. I used to take your hand in mine as we danced across the floor. I still take your hand at times, but we're not dancing anymore. Remember, 'cause I will not forget. Remember, all the memories you're holding on to yet. Remember, I know that you're not clear, but I will stay right here as long as I need to. And I know that you won't remember me, but I'll remember you. Yeah, I know that you don't remember me, but I will remember you.
Okay, that was Remember, the video song written by Brian here, Brian Hedges, and out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Nancy, since you have been diagnosed, as you watch that video, do you kind of see similarities, and do you get how does it affect you?
I think it affects everyone differently. I think that the way that we process it, or the way that we go through the experiences that we have, are different. I think that the sentiments are so lovely in that piece, and it brought tears to my eyes, because I think we're all kin. You know, if we all could talk and explain and tell someone, please, you know, don't think that if I come back and I'm angry, or I can't say the words or think the words, then it's not that I don't want to, it's just that I can't reach that point. And I think that the Remember takes you to that place. I really thought, wow. For me, and the organizations that have helped me along the way, is Alzheimer's Association here in Las Vegas, Desert Southwest chapter. They put their arms around me, and they made me know it was okay that I couldn't remember, and that I get days wrong and people wrong, and can't see faces all the time and remember them, and all of those sorts of things. And they made me feel, hey, Nancy, it's okay. You're right where you need to be, and it's working for you. So I did go to Washington, D.C. a couple of times and knocked on doors and said, hey, you know, we need your help. And it is a wonderful thing. The one thing that I can say that by my standing up and speaking up and out about Alzheimer's and hoping that people understand that we're just normal people. We're sort of, if you take a piece of Swiss cheese and you have its holes, and we just kind of go down underneath in a hole, we may come right back up, as you expressed, Brian, or we may stay down there a while and not come up. But it's a process. And
well, we sure
the more
appreciate
you understand how I feel, and I listen and I understand how you feel, that's what we need. We need to talk about it and not be afraid to do that.
Oh, that's a great sentiment right there. So you've worked with Alzheimer's out of Las Vegas in Nevada, and really all over, because you've spoken all
Yes.
over. Brian,
Yeah.
tell me where you've been acting in like a charity role, that you've done things to try to get donations and enlighten folks about Alzheimer's.
Well, because I've been in Tennessee for so long, even though Mom and Dad were dealing with it in Oklahoma, I help try to get things happening with the Tennessee Alzheimer's Association, Pat Summit Foundation. Pat, just happened to be right here in Knoxville, the winningest college basketball coach in Division I college basketball history. She was an amazing lady, right up to the days when she stood there and said, I have to step down because I'm having some issues. And she went right on and impressed people to the day that she went to be with God. And we loved Pat. And she has, because of that, and it's the same as any of us have been touched by it. I don't think you really want to ever set out. I don't think most people want to set out to be a hero. Something drops in their lap someday when they're going home on a subway or an airplane or something, and suddenly they're just forced into that situation where they become a hero. And I think it's the same situation with a voice for any type of organization. I didn't want Mom and Dad or my grandma or my aunt or anybody else. I don't want Nancy. I don't want anybody to be diagnosed with Alzheimer's. I hate Alzheimer's. I loathe it because I've seen what it does. And so when someone like Nancy comes along, has been diagnosed, says, hell no, I'm like, yeah, I like this gal a lot. And, sis, we love you. I mean, that's what it's all about, is that we are family. We are on the same team. And so it doesn't make any difference what comes down the pike. Doesn't make any difference what doctors say, because they get proven wrong time and time again every day. So the only way that things are going to be nipped in the bud and get finally put to bed are going to be the people that are out here experiencing it firsthand and knowing what to do and how to do it. And if that doesn't work, then we go to the people that can, and we make it happen. And so
and helping Alzheimer's divisions, sections across the country get money for the research to hopefully find something that could stop or slow down or maybe even prevent. That's what we're doing with the Alzheimer's and Brain Disease Awareness Month, is we're trying to bring awareness to folks, right? That we need help in the research and development of products and of actions, practices. Nancy is amazing because she actually will go through and do certain things because of what she's been diagnosed with to help her deal with it, to help her get out of it. You get your own selves out of those holes, don't you? Because you smile and you do.
I pull up those big girl panties and put a smile on my face and embarrass myself sometimes, one would think. I'm calling on the phone at the last minute saying, hell, I don't know where I'm going. I'm dressed and I'm ready to go, but I don't know where I'm going. Got there the other day and it was the wrong day. Oh my Lord. Yeah. I mean, and all I can do is laugh and say, okay, well, I'm better for it. I'll know right where to go tomorrow. And that's what happened just this week. And we have to be able to laugh at ourselves. We have to be able to say, hey, don't fear it. Turn around and look at it. It's okay. It is okay. Take my hand. It's okay.
Nice.
Bless you for that, because that's what I want people to understand too, is when you're diagnosed with anything, a diagnosis does not mean a death sentence. It does not. It does not mean that you're going to stop. It doesn't mean any of this stuff is possible. It is possible. It's not probable. You can beat this. You can beat anything. And just the fact that you have this attitude, there are two ways to look at anything when you're diagnosed with something, and that is either to be positive and to say, no, I'm gonna ride this thing out. I'm gonna see how this goes, or you get negative and you crawl under a blanket and you don't come out and you get depressed. And I'll tell you who's not going to be around the longest. You have to be out there and be positive. And I love you for it, because you are out there being a sounding board to everybody, and they look at you and say, oh, there's nothing wrong with her. And then
That's
it's like,
right. They
she's
do.
been it's an invisible, it's an invisible diagnosis.
And I just say, anymore, I say, thank you. I'm not trying to prove anything. Yay, thank you. If they only knew what it took for me to get from point A to point B with a smile on my face. Yeah, but it's all good. It's all good.
I just want you to know how much you mean to me for what you do, because it takes so much positive for everybody to understand that I can be positive as well. I don't have to wallow in it. And just by happenstance, I got a text last night from a lady that I went to college with, and her mother passed away last night from Alzheimer's. And she actually contacted me to ask if it would be okay if they would play Remember at her mother's funeral.
Oh my God.
And so
Oh, nice.
I don't know. I don't see firsthand sometimes what an advocate does, because I'm not an advocate. I try to throw it out there because I've experienced it, and I write about experience. I write about things that have touched me, and Alzheimer's has. So when somebody who is a distant past comes forward and says, I'd like to do this because it touched me, it meant something to me,
Oh, it
then
should.
suddenly I'm an advocate as well. And it gives me that positive too. That's like, we're doing something. And so
well, you're both doing something, and you're finding ways, different ways that you each are helping, and that's what we're working towards. We're working towards #EndAlz, right? That's the whole idea. Through research, development, talking, and sharing, hopefully that we can get that done one day. Brian, award winner, songwriter, singer, a man of many means, legend in your own mind.
so far.
Brian, I want you to know
Good
that
for you.
through your,
That's what scares me about Alzheimer's, is what if I lose my one fan?
I know. Yeah. What if I lose my smile? Yes.
But through your music and through your lyrics, you've touched a lot of folks, and we know you're where it's all coming from, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Nancy, what can we say? Brian has already just gone on, but I've met you a few years ago at some book signings. You touched us then, and you're continuing to touch us now. Hopefully this will get out to a lot of folks that will think, you know what? I can write a song and help somebody. I can write a poem and help somebody. And if it gets around and Alzheimer's is brought up and they're dealing with things and it all comes together, I guess that's what we've been wanting to do, right? So
That is. That's the perfect storm.
So if you have one final word, one final sentence that you'd like to give Nancy to kind of close this up for us, go ahead.
I guess I would say thank you. I would say I'm grateful for the opportunity to share my story and my sentiments and things that have helped me and my family, so that they might help you and your family in a disease that isn't easily able to be defined. And the more we talk, the more we listen, the better off we're all going to be. And thank you for this opportunity, Brian and Bill. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Nancy. You're an amazing woman and an amazing example for us. Brian, any final words, final little lyrics, anything that you'd like to bring up before we close up shop here and get this out to the folks?
just quickly, thank you for letting me be a part of this. I was honored when you said that you want to put this together with Nancy, because I am a fan, and I know this is our first time actually to sit and communicate with each other,
Yes.
but we're family. And so if you haven't yet, I will say this, read Blue River Apple. Go get the book, read it, study it, understand that it's coming from a firsthand account of everything. It's been an honor, and I've just enjoyed it, and thank you so much for letting me be a part of it, Bill.
Thanks. We'll let him get us together again.
Well, we will. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Nancy Nelson out of Las Vegas, Nevada, author of Blue River Apple. It's a 3-book series. It goes through from the time of diagnosis through to present day, and also includes some other things from some other folks that are going through this. And Brian Hedges out of Knoxville, Tennessee, singer, songwriter. His song "Remember" touched me and made me want to get these two folks together because of Alzheimer's. And being the last day, folks, remember, just because the month ended doesn't mean the disease has. We still need to be aware. We still need to help. We still need to listen. And I personally want to thank both of you for allowing me to do this. It's been a pleasure and an honor for me. Thank you very much, you guys.
Thank
We'll see
you.
you next time around, right?
Yes.
Sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.